What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and daily news, everything going on here. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, thank you so much for hitting the like button for us as well. Also, Congress has announced a new stimulus package coming out. We'll be going over that here in this video and several other things on their agenda to combat inflation and to try to help Americans right now with inflation just surging. Remember, the most recent inflation reading was 7.5%, which was the highest in decades. And the problem with that is that many people on low income, seniors on fixed income, and many 63% of Americans are currently living paycheck to paycheck or are behind on bills right now. And the problem is inflation is just hurting the vast majority of us right now. So we got a lot to talk about here in this video. Let's jump right in. Okay, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says that the Senate Democrats are plotting to, first off, pass a legislative push on inflation, including a gas tax holiday to remove the federal tax on gas, the price of gas at the pump, which would remove the federal taxes on gasoline at the pump right now. The problem with this right now is that, well, Republicans are against the idea because they see it as a political ploy with the elections coming on later this year. So right now, Republicans think that Democrats are only doing this to try to win votes and not to provide relief to Americans. So yeah, the problem right now is that the price of the pump right now, the average price is around $3.49, $3.50 per gallon, and the average price of gasoline the average price of oil just went to $95 a barrel yesterday. That's the highest prices of oil since 2014. So that's the highest prices in 8 years and rising. And some analysts are saying that the price of oil could spike 20% or more in just a matter of hours or days if the Russian invasion does actually happen. And that will hit Americans in their wallets almost instantly and cost more for all of us just in oil alone. And remember, the price of oil, the price of gas also affects pretty much anything you buy, including food and anything at the store, because everything has to be shipped. So, it's just there's just no relief. It's just tough. As you can see here, Senate Democrats plan to bring legislation to the floor in March designed to cut costs for Americans as rampant inflation drives up gasoline, food, and other prices. The caucus began debating ideas during their weekly lunch Tuesday. Proposals discussed including suspending the national gasoline tax, capping the cost of insulin, and instituting antitrust regulations to break up monopolies in certain industries, among other measures to lower the cost of everything possible. Democrats did not make any decision yet on what they will bring to the floor next month. Also, in addition to this, the Biden administration is eyeing $30 billion for COVID relief funding, another package, in talks with Congress. So they are also going to be requesting more money for another package. What's interesting here is, as we've talked about here on the show, Senate Minority Leader from the Republicans, Mitch McConnell, almost instantly said, there's $800 billion of stimulus money that's already there. Don't you think that we should reallocate that and use that money It's almost like he's been watching our show and says, or seen my tweets to Congress. It's almost like he said, hey, hello, we have $800 billion of stimulus money. Maybe we should use that as relief for the people first. But nonetheless, the Biden administration is asking for $30 more billion. Hey, whatever you need to do, right? But nonetheless, they're going to be asking Congress for more money. So they are in talks for more money for stimulus funding with Congress, in addition to lowering the cost for multiple different things and more stimulus type relief and more additional all sorts of things coming out here, including reducing taxes on gas, all sorts of different potential things here. Now, while this goes through here, there's probably going to be multiple different revisions and changes to these bills, ideas thrown out, things added, things subtracted. So, as always, call, email, tweet your representatives. Remember, they're your elected officials. So, now is the time to say, hey, there's 63% of Americans right now that are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling. Seniors on Social Security are being hurt right now. There's so many seniors on Social Security that had their food assistance, their SNAP benefits reduced after they got their 5.9% cost of living adjustment. And think about this, the most recent inflation report was 7.5%. 7.5%, and their cost of living adjustment was 5.9%. So now their cost of living adjustment is less than the current inflation. And then we had millions of seniors had their food assistance, their SNAP assistance reduced. And that's why I sent this tweet out here to Congress here recently and the president. Millions of people on SNAP had their benefits reduced because of the COLA raise, the cost of living adjustment, people on Social Security. This is crazy. We need a bill to change this introduced now. Let's make this happen. And I sent this out and I tagged this a bunch of people that are currently in support of ideas and bills like this. Senator Bernie Sanders, AOC, Representative John Larson, who is one of the co-founders of the Social Security 2100 Act to increase Social Security benefits to $1,341 per month, which is 25% of the poverty level. Sent it out to the President of the United States. I mean, think about this. We had a COLA raise that is for people on Social Security and SSI, disability, all the whole Social Security umbrella, right? And this is supposed to just keep people even with inflation, right? Last year's inflation. Inflation's worse now. And what happened? People get their food assistance, their SNAP benefits reduced. How that is even a thing is absolutely mind-boggling to me. As I say here, this is crazy. We need a bill to change this introduced now. This should not happen. This should not happen. They need a system to raise the federal poverty level or to raise the food assistance benefits with inflation so that this type of stuff does not happen. People should not have their food assistance and their SNAP assistance reduced because of a cost of living adjustment on Social Security. Let me know your thoughts here. But that's why I'm out here sending these messages to Congress. I'm out here sending these messages on my YouTube channel. Literally hundreds of thousands of people watch my YouTube channel per day, millions of people in total. And I just want to be a voice for the community here, a voice for you guys here, because honestly, this is how bills and this is how movements get started, okay? When we think about the Social Security 2100 Act, that is a bill right now in Congress, or a bill that has been reintroduced in Congress. You can see here, led by U.S. Representative John Larson. It has something around like 200 different co-sponsors between the House of Representatives and the Senate, and they've been gaining more support. This bill has several different provisions. Cuts taxes, strengthen benefits, ensure Social Security through this century. And what it does is, one of the provisions it does is that it adds an extra tax onto people, wealthy individuals that make like over $400,000. It has them start repaying into the Social Security system, because remember that people stop paying into the Social Security system somewhere around $145,000, $150,000, because that's the maximum. It changes every single year, okay, because of inflation. It goes up a little bit. Okay, but they stop paying into Social Security because they've hit the maximum amount that they can make for Social Security, so they stop paying into Social Security. What they want to do, and there's several different bills that would take this idea. What they want to do is make those people start paying into Social Security again at around the $400,000 per year income mark. And all those people would pay into it again with about a 2% payroll tax. So they pay 2% of their income above that mark in. All those people that make over $400,000 do that. And when they do that, all that money goes back into Social Security. And from there, they can use that extra tax money to increase the Social Security minimum amount they pay out to everybody that qualifies for Social Security, or whatever the stipulations they come up with, to 125% of the poverty level. So everybody that worked for their whole lives and qualifies for Social Security would no longer be living below the poverty level. So they would get 125% of the poverty level, which comes out to $1,341 per month. So think about all the people that work their whole lives and gets $800 a month, $900 a month, something like that. They would now get raised to $1,341 per month. Yeah, that's and like I said, there's somewhere around 200 different co-sponsors that have co-sponsored this bill, and that is something that they could get passed this year. Yeah, so there's a lot of different support for things like this, and this is how movements start. We got to get more support for this. That's why I'm here on my YouTube channel talking about this, trying to gather more support. That's why I tell you guys, call, email, tweet your representatives, your state representatives. Send out your support. I'm here talking to hundreds of thousands, millions of people every single day, and trying to get more support for things like this, for SNAP benefits being reduced for seniors. Crazy because of inflation. How is that even a thing? That should not be a thing. Yeah, that is something that needs to be changed. We talk about this $800 billion of stimulus money that is just sitting there. Again, something needs to be done about that. They just let it sit there. And again, this is how bills get started. You send this idea out to Congress. One or two people in Congress, Bernie Sanders, whoever it may be, sees somebody come up with this idea and they go, you know what? That is a good idea. Let's start a movement on this, and let's get some support on this, and let's start a bill and see if we can get the support of enough people to get it passed. And that's exactly how things happen. In fact, that's exactly how the second stimulus check actually became the second stimulus check and actually got passed. That's how the $1,400 third stimulus check almost came to pass. It was blocked by Mitch McConnell, if you remember that whole story. But in the end, it actually did become the third stimulus check underneath President Biden. If you remember that whole story, I'm not even going to go through it again. Former President Donald Trump wanted that $1,400 check. He said the $600 check's not enough. It should be $2,000. And then they passed it in the House. And then Mitch McConnell said, nope, I'm not even going to put it to a vote in the Senate. Yeah. And then nonetheless, the Republicans kind of lost the Senate like 6 days later because of the Georgia Democratic runoff races, or the Georgia runoff races, and the Democrats won both those seats. Okay. And then the Democrats ended up passing the $1,400 stimulus check anyways, all on their own. The Democrats in the House and the Democrats in the Senate without a single Republican vote through the reconciliation package. So the Democrats are kind of like, all right, Mitch McConnell, if you're going to not let this even go to a vote. He didn't even put it to a vote on the floor. I remember saying to you guys, I'm like, all right, the House has passed this bill for $1,400. The second stimulus check just went out. Trump said, make this $2,000. The House was like, all right, we passed this. Literally like 2 days later, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This is amazing. This is like what everybody needs, right? And then, and I'm like, and I was remember counting the votes. I'm like, all right, we got all 50 Democrats in the Senate going to vote for this. We need 10 votes. Even Joe Manchin was going to vote for it. We need 10 votes from Republicans. And I remember saying, all right, we got Josh Hawley. We got, I can't even remember who the guys were, but I'm like, we got this guy, this guy, this guy. I'm like, we got 10 people. I'm like, this is gonna happen. And then Mitch McConnell didn't even vote on it. He didn't even put it to a vote. He just put it in his what do we call it? His graveyard. He put it in his graveyard. But unfortunately for Mitch McConnell, didn't really work out that well because the Democrats passed it anyways on their own. I don't know, a month or two later. So didn't work out for Mitch. I don't know why he would want to do that, especially because the Georgia runoff races were like a week later. And I kind of thought through the situation. I was like, has Mitch thought through the situation here? Because it was like, these Senate runoff races are a week later, 6 days later, and I was like, if he loses both these seats, he loses the Senate, and the Republicans lose the Senate, and I was like, is he really sure he doesn't even want to put this to a vote? I mean, it's his own Republican president who's saying, let's make these $600 stimulus checks 2,000. So I'm like, is he sure he wants to not even put this to a vote? Why would he do this? Like the whole country's watching. Like, what is he doing? And he decided to literally be the Grinch. Can you imagine being that person? And I mean, this was back in 2020. This was at the end of like December of 2020, I think it was. So literally still I mean, they call it the height of the pandemic, but I mean, when you look at here we are in February of 2022, and the cases were higher than ever. I mean, just look here where we were just a few weeks ago. Man, we had 1 million people testing positive per day. So you kind of got to wonder, and really, we were actually at almost all-time highs per day of deaths. So you kind of wonder, was that the all-time high of the pandemic? Was that the height of the pandemic? Or was this the height of the pandemic with a million people testing positive and almost daily highs of deaths per day? So what would you consider the height of the pandemic? Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You kind of go back to 2020 and you say they closed down the country. When they closed down the country, we were like 30 some thousand cases per day. 30 some thousand. Isn't that crazy to think about? And then here we are in 2022 with 1 million cases per day. We had one day that it was 1.4 million people testing positive in a day. And think about, we didn't close the country down. So think about when we closed the country down underneath Trump, we had 30 some thousand cases per day. And then here we are in 2022 at 1.4 million cases we had in one day, and several days over 1 million cases per day. So think about 30,000 cases per day and millions of cases per day, like, or over 1 million cases per day. I mean, just like the disparity, it's like exponentially more. I mean, it's just you can't even. It's just so much more. It's like, what is that? That's like, well, 10 times more would be 300,000. That's like over 30 times more cases. Yeah, yeah. So, wow, it's just crazy, crazy. So let me know your thoughts here. And we've had so many different recent reports that have said without stimulus, our economy would have been so much worse, so much worse. So I will keep you up to date here with everything. Make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so, so you don't miss out on new videos. I'll keep you up to date here with everything. So new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribing is completely free to do so. If you haven't subscribed yet, you need to do so. So the algorithm will show you the videos, so you won't miss out on them. So click here to watch our newest video next. And if you didn't see it, click here to see my video where we talk about adult monthly checks. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.